And therefore, females have to pay the price of what their great-grandmother did 10,000 years ago. They have to pay the price. And what is the price? The price is a very severe curse, and that curse is childbirth. It's considered curse. This divine gift of having children is, in other religious traditions, is considered a curse. Eve has to pay the price. And therefore they believe in their doctrines. I would not mention names. I want you to go and search. They believe because of this mistake by Eve, therefore Adam realized that he has to maintain his authority over women, over Eve. And he has to be in constant guard against her guiles. That is written in religious texts. This is not a secular text. When you come to the Quran, Quran tells you exactly the opposite. Quran puts the blame on Adam. It's not a really blame, but when Allah mentions the story of Adam and Eve, He says, وَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ. He does not mention Eve. So, Quran does not say that Eve has to bear the curse and the punishment. Quran equalizes both of them. Therefore, this is one fact in the Quran, the equality of both. When it comes to creation, when it comes to moral obligation. The second fact, Quran asserts that no community today, no society can function, can progress without the full participation of female and women. If people try to seclude them, alienate them, corner them, separate them from the rest of the society, that society would not be a prosperous society. They have to be a major part of our life. Look at the life of the prophets of Allah, beginning with Adam. Look at the life of our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet could not work, could not begin his mission without the essential help of Khadija alayhi salam. She was an integral part to the Prophet's lives. She was an integral part to the Prophet's life. The same thing with Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. He could not work without the help of Fatima al-Zahra. And the same thing is said about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. His work could not be integrated and completed without the struggle, the sacrifice of his noble sister Zainab alayhi salam. The Prophet lived with Khadija for 29 years. And when she passed away, the Prophet was weeping for her for a long time. One of his wives came to him. She said, Ya Rasulullah, you still feel the sadness and sorrow for the departure of Khadija? God has given you many other wives, younger, more beautiful. The Prophet said, nay. By Allah, Allah did not substitute me with the better wife. لقد آمنت بي حين كفر بي الناس وصدقتني حين كذبني الناس وأعطتني حين منعني الناس وواستني بمالها حين حرمني الناس. Khadija was a unique lady in my life. When I married Khadija, she was a multi-millionaire lady in Mecca, the richest lady in Mecca. After 29 years of marriage, when Khadija died, she could not find a coffin for herself. That multimillionaire lady put all her wealth at the disposal of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She left nothing for herself, to the extent that the Prophet could not find a coffin for her. No single shroud. فَكَفَّنَهَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ بِرِدَائِهِ. The Prophet had a garment, and he used that garment to shroud his wife Khadija. This is loyalty. This is the noble wife. ما قام الإسلام إلا بسيف علي ومال خديجة. And then you look at the Quran. What else we have about women in the Quran? The Holy Quran innovated social and individual rights for women. Imagine 1400 years ago, when women and girls and females were considered a big curse on the family. They would go and take them and bury them alive. At that time, Islam comes and declares that this is a sanctified soul, and this soul should not be violated. It has to be cherished, respected, admired. Therefore, when it comes to education, Islam asserts that female has to continue her education. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. They come to the Prophet, they say, Ya Rasulullah, group of females, ذهب الرجال بحديثك. Men do not allow us to approach you, to reach you. What do we do? The Prophet says, I will designate one day to teach you. I'll spend my time with you, teaching you and educating you. Islam says she has to continue her higher education. Faridah. It's a religious obligation. When it comes to her property and her wealth, Islam enables her to own and dispose of her property freely without the interference of her husband or her guardians or her father or her children. When it comes to marriage, Islam gives her the full right to accept, to freely accept or deny marriage proposals. It is an obligation on the father, on the mother, to go and ask their daughter before they say yes or no to a marriage proposal. This is what the Prophet did. Prophet is not only a prophet. Prophet is the guardian of all the Muslims. النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم. The Prophet ﷺ was not only a father, biological father to Fatima al-Zahra. He was a leader. He was able to assert his authority and leadership. But when Imam Ali came asking for Fatima's hand, the Prophet said, Ya Ali, I like you. I admire you. I want you to be my son-in-law. But yet, I have to ask for Fatima's permission, Fatima's approval. He went inside. This is a lesson. This is a lesson, a great lesson for many fathers, many Muslim parents, especially in the Middle East, in the Indian subcontinent, in India, Pakistan, in the Middle East, in other countries, who give their daughters in marriage to people, and the daughter is the last one to realize that she's being married. And next morning is her wedding, and she has to accept that offer, and she has no right to say no. That is un-Islamic. That is an un-Islamic attitude. And then when it comes to voting, to political participation, Islam gives her the full right to vote. Read Surah Al-Mumtahana. Surah Al-Mumtahana has only 13 verses. Read verse number 12. Chapter 60, verse number 12. يا أيها النبي إذا جاءك المؤمنات يبايعنك. Pay allegiance to you. Allegiance at that time was considered, in today's contemporary language, is considered voting. Female suffrage, which was extended to females way before the Western democracy today.